Hi everyone, my name is Gene Shaw. I'm an illustrator and a graphic designer. I've been working in the industry for a little over 15 years now. And today we're going to show you something awesome. I'm going to get into techniques on how to use crumpled up newspaper to paint with. There's some very specific things that you can do with crumpled up newspaper, but as far as I'm concerned, go nuts, because it's not like a paintbrush or something that costs like $5 at the store. You can always find crumpled up newspaper. So let's experiment a little bit. All right, so I'm just going to take and rip off some paper here and start by crumpling it up. I mean, it's pretty basic. Now, the reason that you would use crumpled up paper to paint with is because you're looking for another interesting texture. And before we get started, one of the interesting things about newspaper is that when you crumple it up over time, if you let it go, it sort of uncrumples. But you can see all the different little bumps and ridges in here. I'm just going to take, I'm using watercolor, and I'm just going to take and lightly dab in the water, just very lightly. The newspaper is very absorbent, so you're going to get it real easily. And I'm going to go into green, for example. So let's just jump into green here. I need a little bit more. There we go. Jump into green. And you can see that it wasn't picked up everywhere, only on the parts that are standing out the most. So now we're just going to go in here and kind of form a little shape that eventually will be like a little bush. So at first, we're going to have more water, so it'll come out lighter. And I'm going to dip into the paint again and just press against there, because you want all those little ridges and all those interesting shapes. And remember, the smaller amount of water you use and the more color, the darker it's going to come out. So you can see we have like a little bush forming. I'm going to need a little bit more water here. You can see we've got a little bush forming, which is kind of interesting. And so that's one of the ways that you can use crumpled up newspaper to paint. Another way, another quick technique here, I'm just going to use a different area of the newspaper that you can see, is to drag it. Drag the newspaper along the paper. So now I'm going to go into brown. Let's say you wanted to do, I don't know, maybe a tree trunk or something. Just grab a little bit of paint, just like we did earlier, and just pull it along. And you can see, because of the texture of the watercolor paper, you've got a bunch of little ridges in there, and it's starting to simulate paint bark a little bit. So I'm going to get a little bit more on there. And what you want to do now is, just maybe, you don't want to have one long, quick stroke. Every now and again, you want to pick up the newspaper, because it's going to give you all these interesting little darker textures in here. And that's going to give your tree a little bit of character. So these are two just quick, easy techniques that you can use in your painting. And believe it or not, it's a crumpled up newspaper. And that's all we've done there. Good luck getting this same texture with a paintbrush. All right, so there you have it. That's a very inexpensive way to achieve some interesting effects. Keep in mind, just experiment with things, and whatever you do, have fun. You never know where you're going to get a certain texture that you're really going to like. Could be a crumpled up newspaper, could be a plastic bag, could be a paintbrush that's broken, could be anything. So keep your mind open, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.